You're familiar with Frankenstein, right? But did you know the book and the movie tell two very different tales? To begin with, Mary Shelley birthed the original Frankenstein novel in 1818, a tale spun from the depths of her imagination. Then fast forward to 1931, where we find James Whale's silver screen rendition, a classic in the annals of horror cinema. Both present the tragic tale of Victor Frankenstein and his monstrous creation, yet they diverge significantly in their narratives, characters and themes. From the novel's introspective letters penned by Captain Walton to the film's direct, suspense-driven plot. From the novel's complex Victor and articulate monster to the movie's mad scientist and mute creature. The differences are as striking as they are chilling. So, buckle up as we delve into the chilling differences between Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and James Whale's cinematic interpretation. First up, let's talk about how the stories are told. In Mary Shelley's original novel, the narrative structure is quite unique. It's framed as a series of letters penned by Captain Walton, an explorer who stumbles upon Victor Frankenstein in the icy wilderness of the Arctic. This epistolary approach allows us to delve into Victor's mind, offering us an intimate look at his internal monologues and philosophical musings. The narrative structure is layered, complex, and mirrors the depth of Victor's character. On the other hand, James Whale's 1931 movie adaptation takes a more straightforward path. The film focuses on the events themselves, rather than the intricate details of Victor's thoughts and feelings. This narrative structure is linear, clear-cut, and puts the spotlight on the action. There are no layers to peel back, no letters to pore over. The story is laid bare for us to see, devoid of the philosophical debates that dominate the novel. This divergence in narrative structures between the novel and the movie is significant. It's not just about the way the story is told, but about the tone it sets. In the novel, the letters and internal monologues create a sense of introspection and reflection. We're not just observers, but active participants in Victor's mental and emotional journey. The story unveils itself slowly, inviting us to ponder on the philosophical questions it raises. The movie, in contrast, is all about immediacy. The straightforward narrative plunges us into the heart of the action, keeping us on the edge of our seats. There's no time for introspection or philosophical musings. It's all about the suspense, the horror, the thrill. Clearly, the way the story is told sets a different tone in the book and the movie. The novel's introspective and reflective narrative structure contrasts sharply with the movie's emphasis on action and suspense. It's like looking at the same story through two different lenses, each offering a unique perspective. And that, my friends, is the beauty of diverging narrative structures. Now, on to the characters. They might share names, but their personalities are worlds apart. Let's start with Victor Frankenstein. In Mary Shelley's novel, Victor is a complex figure, a brilliant but deeply flawed scientist, tormented by ambition and guilt. His internal struggle forms a critical part of the narrative, revealing the torment of a man who dared to play God, only to be haunted by his creation. However, in James Whale's 1931 film, Victor, renamed as Henry, leans more towards the archetype of the mad scientist. He's a man consumed by his obsession, with less focus on his inner turmoil and more on his reckless pursuit of the unnatural. And then we have the monster. In the novel, the creature is far from the mindless brute we often imagine. He's articulate, intelligent, capable of deep thought and emotion. He learns to speak and read, yearning for acceptance and understanding. His eloquence and emotional depth make him a tragic figure, a victim of his creator's ambition. Contrarily, in the movie, the monster, masterfully portrayed by Boris Karloff, is a mute, childlike figure driven by primal instincts. His grotesque appearance, complete with the iconic bolts in his neck, further distances him from the eloquent, emotionally complex creature of the novel. The film's monster is more a symbol of horror than a character grappling with his existence and humanity. These contrasting characterizations reflect different interpretations of the same narrative, each offering unique perspectives. The novel's Victor and his monster delve into the human psyche's depths, exploring themes of ambition, guilt, and what it means to be human. The film, on the other hand, emphasizes the horror and suspense, focusing more on the terror of the monster and the gothic atmosphere. As you can see, the characters we thought we knew are not quite the same in the book and the movie. Who can forget the iconic creation scene, but how does it compare to the book? The novel shrouds the birth of the monster in mystery. Mary Shelley chooses not to delve into the nitty-gritty of the creation process. Instead, she focuses on the psychological horror and devastating consequences that Victor Frankenstein faces after his ambitious experiment. It's a chilling and introspective take on the creation story, leaving much to the reader's imagination. On the flip side, the movie adaptation takes a more dramatic approach. It presents an unforgettable spectacle, complete with electrical equipment, a lightning storm, and the now iconic line, "It's alive." This rendition of the creation scene prioritizes the visual drama and theatricality of the moment, creating a stark contrast with the novel's more understated approach. The mystery of the novel and the drama of the movie give us two very different experiences of this unforgettable moment. Now let's explore the themes, the supporting characters, and the endings that make these two versions distinct. The novel and the movie adaptation of Frankenstein present contrasting themes and tones. In Shelley's novel, the themes center around the perils of unchecked ambition, the pursuit of knowledge, and the blurred line between humanity and monstrosity. The tone is reflective and philosophical, inviting readers to ponder these profound themes. Meanwhile, Wales' film veers toward the elements of horror and suspense, emphasizing the terror of the monster and the gothic atmosphere. It's a thrilling ride, less philosophical, more visceral. Let's take a moment to discuss the supporting characters, Elizabeth and Henry Clerval. In the book, Elizabeth Lavenza, Victor's cousin or adopted sister, depending on the edition, and his fiancée, has a more developed relationship with Victor. On the other hand, the film version presents Elizabeth as Henry's fiancée, with her role less prominent, primarily focused on her concern for Henry. Henry Clerval, Victor's close friend in the novel, plays a significant role, acting as the moral compass that Victor lacks. However, in the movie, Clerval is present, but his role is less central. Now, onto the endings. In the novel, the story concludes with Victor pursuing the monster to the Arctic, where he meets his end. The monster, expressing remorse and despair, vows to end his own life, leaving readers with a poignant sense of tragic loss. The film, however, opts for a more visually dramatic ending. The monster is trapped and presumably perishes in a burning windmill, delivering a more definitive and visually arresting conclusion. So even in theme, supporting characters, and ending, the novel and the movie offer two distinct takes on the Frankenstein story. Whether you prefer the introspective exploration of the novel or the thrilling horror of the movie, one thing is certain: the tale of Frankenstein continues to captivate us, challenging our notions of humanity, monstrosity, and the terrifying power of unchecked ambition. So there you have it. We've taken a deep dive into the world of Frankenstein, comparing Mary Shelley's original 1818 novel to James Whale's 1931 film adaptation. We've explored the diverging narrative structures, from the novel's intricate letter-based narrative filled with Victor's philosophical musings to the film's more straightforward, event-driven approach. We've examined the characterizations of Victor Frankenstein and his monster. The former, a brilliant but flawed scientist in the novel, and a mad scientist archetype in the movie. The latter, an articulate, intelligent being seeking understanding in the book, and a mute, childlike creature in the film. We've discussed the novel's vague, horror-focused creation scene versus the movie's dramatic, iconic rendition. We've also touched on the varying themes, supporting characters, and endings in both works. Next time you watch or read Frankenstein, remember these differences and see how they change your perspective. Until then, keep exploring the darker corners of literature and film.